Welcome to FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our 2014 NFL Draft Prospect Rankings video. We're taking a look at the cornerback position. We're going to look at my top 10, some small school prospects, as well as some sleepers that you want to keep an eye on. Justin Gilbert out of Oklahoma State is my #1 rated cornerback prospect in this year's draft. He's explosive, he has top-notch change of direction skills, and he drives and accelerates well to the football and to the ball carrier. Now, he's not overly physical and has inconsistent tackling effort, and he doesn't use his hands to control the wide receiver. He wants to win with speed and quickness, but he's definitely a game breaker, one of the more polished cornerback prospects in the last 5 years, and plays a lot like Champ Bailey of the Denver Broncos. Next up is Darqueze Dennard out of Michigan State at 5'11", 199 pounds. Plays a lot like Stephon Gilmore of the Buffalo Bills. He's technically sound, plays with great spatial awareness, also is a very fluid athlete, and also has the ball skills that you want out of anyone playing in the secondary. Now, he can get handsy, and that could lead to a lot of penalties at the next level, and also at times it takes him a little bit longer to flip his hips. He has to get a little bit more smooth in that aspect, but this is a guy that has good all-around game and is definitely worthy of a high first-round grade. And don't let the size fool you. Jason Verrett out of TCU is an outstanding prospect that competes every play. He plays bigger than his size. He's versatile. He can play in the slot. He can play on the boundary, even on the field side. And he also has elite reaction skills, which is why he's one of the best cornerback prospects in the country. Plays a lot like Brent Grimes of the Miami Dolphins. Now, he can get out-muscled in the middle of a route, which causes separation. So he has to get a little bit stouter. It has to get a little bit stronger and more physical than what he already is as a prospect moving forward. But overall, love his skill set. Love the way he reacts to the football. And it's definitely one that you could take in the first round. One of my favorite prospects in this year's draft class, regardless of position, is Lamarcus Joyner out of Florida State at 5'8", 185 pounds. Reminds me a lot of Tyrann Mathieu of the Arizona Cardinals. He has elite ball skills. He's versatile. He can play corner or safety at a high level. He's a very good run defender and also has elite awareness, which is why he's always around and always has the football in his hands. So he can even help you out as a returner. Now, his over-aggressiveness at times leaves him susceptible to double moves, which could create separation, which could create a big play for the opposing team. But overall, you love his instincts. You love his ability to challenge a receiver no matter the size. And I definitely think this is a guy that I would take and feel comfortable with in the back end of my defense. It seems like every year there's an outstanding defensive back prospect coming out of that Virginia Tech program, and this year it's Kyle Fuller at 6 feet, 190 pounds, plays a lot like Jamar Taylor of the Miami Dolphins because he has excellent closing speed to the receiver as well as to the football. He's very instinctive and is a good open field tackler. Now, in press coverage, he tends to reach, he tends to lunge. He has to get more technically sound in that area to be much more effective, but the skills are there, the talent is there, and he's been well coached as a collegiate. I think he's going to do fine as a pro. Bradley Roby out of Ohio State is 5'11", 195 pounds. He's a junior prospect entering the draft early that has good all-around game. He plays with confidence. He's a sound tackler, and I love how physical he is with the wide receivers and also in the running game, not afraid to throw his body around. Now, he guesses way too often and can't get locked in on a quarterback, and he opens his hips way too quickly, which leaves him susceptible to comeback routes or routes that break in or out. But overall, he has the skill set of Asante Samuel. I think he'll be a fine pro on the field side at the next level. Another prospect that generated a lot of buzz this season has been Stanley's Jean-Baptiste out of Nebraska at 6'3", 218 pounds, has the excellent size that you look for. He has the ball skills, definitely, as he was a former wide receiver. He also has the fluid hips and solid man-to-man skills. He consistently wins the hands battle, which helps him out a lot because his height works against him on a field side because he's not overly quick. But when we look for a comparison, you look at Brandon Browner of the Seattle Seahawks, again, because he can win the hands battle and definitely has the ball skills on the back end to make a play. At number 8, I have Aaron Colvin out of Oklahoma, and yes, he tore his ACL in the Senior Bowl, and that's the biggest knock on his game. But before the injury, he was a very solid cornerback prospect. I think he'll make a full recovery, which is why I still have him in my top 10. He's a very fluid athlete. He's explosive, and he can play both press as well as off coverage very well. He has the ball skills of a wide receiver. This is a guy that can make plays on the football, get the ball back to that offense. And I think once he returns back from that ACL injury, you're going to see second-round talent and plays a lot like Drayton Florence of the Carolina Panthers. The only small college prospect that cracked my top 10 is Pierre Desir out of Lindenwood at 6'2", 200 pounds. He reminds me a lot of a guy I played with in Charles Tillman that now plays for the Chicago Bears. He has great size. He can play both man as well as zone coverage. He has the ball skills, and his football IQ is off the charts. Now, he's a little late in flipping his hips, and he can play high at times, causing him to get off balance. And we saw that down at the Senior Bowl as well as in the Shrine game. But this is a guy that definitely has good all-around talent. Despite going to a Division II program, he has big-time game and is definitely worthy of a second-round grade. Rounding out my top 10 is Phillip Gaines out of Rice at 6 feet, 193 pounds. He's an excellent bump and run corner with long arms that plays the ball very well and has very good range. He can play on the inside as well as on the outside. Now, he's a little tight-hipped, and at times he's late coming out of his breaks, and that could cause him to lose receivers at times at the next level. But overall, a solid skill set. Plays a lot like Cortland Finnegan of the St. Louis Rams because he's physical both in the passing game as well as in the running game. Now, here's some small college prospects you want to look out for, starting with Marcus Williams out of North Dakota State at 5'10", 193 pounds. Plays a lot like Janoris Jenkins of the St. Louis Rams because of his top-notch read and reaction skills. He has great ball skills, always finding his way to not only pick it off, but bring it back to the house. And he has fluid hips, and he transitions well out of his back pedal. Now, he doesn't get his head around at times, and he can get too grabby. He's going to have to clean it up as he moves forward as a professional. Northwest Missouri State is an outstanding Division II program, and they boast two outstanding cornerbacks in this year's draft class. Both brothers, two twins, Brandon Dixon and Brian Dixon. We're going to start with Brandon Dixon at 5'11", 203 pounds, has great spatial awareness. He breaks on the ball very well, and he has excellent hands. Actually reminds me a lot of Tim Jennings of the Chicago Bears and how he can play both man as well as off coverage, and also can excel in zone coverage. Now, he has questionable hips to turn and run, and is not as smooth getting out of his back pedal. Those are some things that he's going to have to clean up as he transitions from the Division II level to the National Football League level. And his brother, Brian Dixon, is an excellent cornerback prospect in his own right at 6 feet, 200 pounds. He's very good in press coverage. He uses his hands well to redirect the receiver, and is an excellent one-on-one tackler, very good in space. Now, he guesses a lot in off coverage, and that gets him caught in bad spots because he's looking in the backfield. He's definitely going to have to train his eyes to stay focused on the task at hand, which is the wide receiver. I'm a big fan of Keith Lewis out of UVA Lynchburg at 6'1", 190 pounds. Also has the ability to play free safety if you need him to. Reminds me a lot of Dwight Lowry in that capacity because of his ability to play both corner and safety. He has great speed, wide receiver-like hands, and plays with good body control and also leverage. Now, he doesn't snap and drive out of his back pedal. It takes a lot of T-steps. Those are some minor issues technique-wise that he's going to have to clean up as he moves forward. I believe Walt Aikens out of Liberty has the biggest upside and potential of any prospect in this year's draft class at the cornerback position. He played in both the Medal of Honor Bowl as well as the Senior Bowl and excelled in both All-Star games. He's explosive. He's a tremendous athlete. He also played basketball in high school, transferred from Illinois. He has good size and great length, and he's also very tough. Now, he's raw. He comes out of his back pedal a little bit too high and has inconsistent technique. I think all of those things can be cleaned up at the next level, which is why he reminds me a lot of another guy I played with, Ike Taylor of the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot to like about the game of Elijah Lee out of Charleston Southern, 5'10", to 180 pounds. Plays a lot like Jordan Poyer of the Cleveland Browns because of his versatility. He can play corner, whether it be on the outside or in the slot, or he can play safety both free and strong. He's good in run support. He's a very good special teamer and is also instinctive as a defensive back. Now, he's awkward coming out of his back pedal, and he's not overly explosive, but the all-around game is there, the versatility is there, and the flexibility in your defense is there with a guy like Elijah Lee. Quake Cox is an outstanding cornerback prospect coming out of Jackson State this season at 5'9", 185 pounds. He has tremendous quickness. He's able to recover very well and is underrated with his press skills. Now, he doesn't always play under control. He's a little wild at times and can get bodied through a route, so he's going to have to get stronger to deal with the bigger wide receivers at the next level. But overall, the talent is definitely there. He had big-time performances versus Southern's Lee Dawson, who's an outstanding receiving prospect, as well as Ryan Grant out of Tulane, so he can definitely cover, and I think he'll be fine as a professional. Bookie Snead out of Sam Houston State had a very productive career for the Bearcats. He's 5'11", 185 pounds. He's technically sound. He has fluid hips, and he extends very well, gets his hands on a receiver, and is able to win that hands battle instantly. Now, he struggles coming out of his back pedal, and he peaks a little bit too often in the backfield, but his overall skill set are there. He's a very solid prospect and plays a lot like Chris Culliver of the San Francisco 49ers. Now here's some excellent talent at the cornerback position that could be surprise starters as rookies. You look at Travis Carey out of Ohio at 6 feet, 205 pounds. He has excellent feet, probably the best footwork of any prospect in this draft class. No wasted movements, and he's a hands, hip, head type of a player, which means he plays with great technique. Now he does have an injury history. He can get stuck in his turns, but overall I like what I see out of him and plays a lot like Terrence Newman of the Cincinnati Bengals. Rashaad Reynolds out of Oregon State is another well-coached cornerback prospect coming out of a great program. Mike Riley does a great job in coaching those guys up out there in Corvallis. He's 5'10", 190 pounds, plays a lot like Alfonso Dennard of the New England Patriots. He has good closing speed to the ball. He plays bigger than his size and has those fluid hips that you want out of the cornerback position. Now, he's not explosive, and he has to work on not opening his hips too quickly to the receiver, but overall, solid skill set. I think he could be one of those guys that can go in the third round that could surprise some at the start of the season. Marcus Robertson is a junior prospect entering the draft at 6 feet, 190 pounds. He plays with great length. He excels in zone coverage and is a solid run defender and also is an excellent blitzer. Now, he's not a quick twitch athlete, so you question his recovery skills, but when the play is in front of him, when he's playing off, no one does it better than Robertson coming out of that Florida program. Another one of my favorite prospects in this draft class is Benet Ben-Wickery out of San Jose State at 5'11", 195 pounds. He's able to track the football and wall off a receiver very well. He has great technique and good ball skills and solid all-around game. Now, he's not overly quick, and he T-steps out of his back pedal, which causes him to be a little bit late to getting to the receiver, but overall, very fine prospect that reminds me a lot of Alan Ball of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you look at Dexter McDougal out of Maryland, you see an outstanding prospect as well. 5'10", 196 pounds, plays a lot like D'Angelo Hall of the Washington Redskins, which means he's a big hitter. He's not afraid to sacrifice his body, and is a tremendous plant and drive type of a player. Now, he has injury concerns, and he tends to get over-aggressive, which leads him to miss at times and lose sight of receivers, but the skill set, the natural cornerback skill set is there, and if he can overcome those injury concerns, I think he could be a surprise starter in the National Football League. Another early entry to the draft is Victor Hampton out of South Carolina at 5'9", 197 pounds. He can explode and drive to the ball carrier. He has good hands. He is an active player with the receiver, keeps his hands busy at the line of scrimmage and throughout the course of a play. Now, he's not as fluid as you would like, and he struggles out of his back pedals to turn and run. If he's off and playing his zone, I think Victor Hampton can be one of these surprise starters as a rookie. Keith McGill out of Utah has physically imposing size at 6'3", 211 pounds. He can get physical with wide receivers. He has long arms to make a play on the ball, and he's solid in either man or zone. Now, he has inconsistent technique, especially with his jam. He has to get a little bit more consistent with that. He has marginal change of direction skills, so you worry about him dealing with guys that are quicker and with double moves at the next level. But overall, you have to like what you see physically from McGill. He has been productive over the course of his career. I think he's another guy that could do fine as a professional. Now, here are some good value cornerback prospects you want to look out for, starting with Ross Cockrell out of Duke at 6 feet, 190 pounds. Another one of these players that had a very productive career over the course of 4 seasons. He has good awareness. He's a better press corner than off corner and has active hands. He's not Sutton, and he tends to get handsy. He has questionable turn and run skills. But when you look at a guy to compare him to, look no further than Leonard Johnson of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he can have the similar type of trek as a pro. Bashaud Breeland out of Clemson is another early entry into the draft at 5'11", 197 pounds that plays with solid technique. He has good length and can redirect and mirror very well versus wide receivers. He doesn't play fast, and he loses versus quicker wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. That's why I believe he should have stayed another season, honed his skill set, but there's enough right here to take a flyer on in the 4th or 5th round. That's why I have him graded, and I think he'll do fine if he can be a little bit more quicker at the next level. Shaq Richardson out of Arizona plays a lot like Kerry Williams of the Philadelphia Eagles, a guy that has good man-to-man skills, excellent ball skills, and extends well for a 6 feet, 195 pound cornerback. Had a great week of practice down in Tampa at the East-West Shrine game. Now, he has marginal change of direction skills and is awkward in off coverage or zone coverage, so I think he's ideal in a man-to-man scheme, and I think he'll do fine moving forward because, again, when you can play man, you can play a long time at the National Football League level. Pierre out of Florida is another one of these early entry prospects. That's a junior at 5'11 and 190 pounds. Probably could have utilized another season down in Gainesville. He'll excel on special teams. I think that's how he'll make his mark as a rookie. He has long arms, that long speed that you look for, solid ball skills, and he's more of an athlete than a cornerback. That's my biggest knock on him, in your classic jack of all trades, master of none, because he also plays some wide receiver for the Florida Gators. He has questionable hip movement and also tends to get handsy. So some things he's going to have to clean up. But like I said before, he's going to make his mark on special teams, and I think he'll excel in the area. Another solid prospect coming out of a well-coached program, especially in the secondary, is RICARDO out of Purdue at 5'9", 187 pounds. His football IQ is off the charts. He plays with great instincts, and he also is a very good run defender. He's versatile. I think he can also play safety in a pinch if need be. Now, he can't get bodied through a route. He's going to have to get stronger, and he's late to get off blocks in the running game. He has to get off those blocks a lot faster as a pro, but this is a guy I think could be a solid mid-round prospect that could end up starting a few games down the line as a rookie. Andre Hall out of Vanderbilt is a guy that's a solid zone corner and has excellent read and reaction skills to the football, but he has questionable recovery speed. He is adequate with his turn and run skills, but I do see a solid zone corner at the next level at 5'10", 188 pounds, and plays a lot like Dominic Franks of the Atlanta Falcons. E.J. Gaines out of Missouri is a physical cornerback that understands passing concepts. I love the way he's able to read coverages on the fly and make a play on the ball. He's good versus run as well. Now, his marginal technique that tends to be all over the place at times gets him in trouble, and he doesn't have the long speed. So I think he's more of a zone corner as a professional, but definitely a lot to like about Gaines, a 5'10", 190-pound cornerback out of Missouri. Yet another early entry from the Florida Gators at the cornerback position is JAYLEN Watkins at 5'11", 195 pounds. I love his speed. I love the way he competes. He's very good in space as far as tackling is concerned, and also has the long arms to make a play on the ball. I think he still has enough raw skills to warrant being drafted, but I do think he should have stayed another season down in Gainesville, but does remind me a lot of Chimmy Chekwa that plays for the Oakland Raiders. Nevin Lawson out of Utah State is a solid cornerback prospect at 5'9", 190 pounds. He's not afraid of contact, a very good tackler, and has very good press skills. You saw him showcase those skills versus USC very well. Now, he has late hands and questionable deep speed, which is why he's excellent with his hands, because he has to neutralize that speed. So I see him as more of a zone corner at the next level. Now, here are my final 2014 NFL Draft prospect rankings for the cornerback position, and as you can see, this is a great year for cornerback prospects, and they're color-coded by round grade. 5 first-round graded prospects, in my opinion, in this year's draft class, starting with Justin Gilbert, a guy that I think reminds me a lot of Champ Bailey. And we look at Lamarcus Joyner, can play corner or safety. Even in round 2 and 3, a lot of great prospects still on the board. Pierre Desir out of Lindenwood is going to fly up draft boards. Phillip Gaines, love the way he plays with those long arms and active hands. Even in round 3 with Benet Ben-Wickery, a guy that's been forgotten about, but he can definitely play some big-time ball, as well as the Dixon brothers out of Northwest Missouri State. And when you look at rounds 4, 5, and 6, you see a lot of great talent guys that could end up being potential starters as rookies. Like I mentioned before, Shaq Richardson, Pierre is a guy that someone's going to take a flyer on. Big fan of RICARDO Allen. So this is a great year for cornerbacks, like I said before, and I wouldn't have a problem with any one of these defensive backs on my football team.